In 1819, the Supreme Court heard a case involving actions of the Second Bank of the United States in Baltimore. McCulloch v. Maryland was a landmark decision that established important precedents involving the implied powers of the federal government, as well as the relationship between exercises of power at the state and national levels. In 1816, Congress chartered the Second Bank of the United States. 1 year later, a branch was opened in Baltimore, Maryland. The state of Maryland, believing that they had supreme power over banking within their borders, passed legislation that imposed a tax on banks not chartered in Maryland. James W. McCulloch, the cashier of the Baltimore branch, refused to pay the tax. After both the Baltimore County Court and the Maryland Court of Appeals ruled in favor of Maryland, the case was appealed to the Supreme Court of the United States. The Supreme Court decided to hear this case because it posed important questions, such as whether or not Congress had the authority to establish a national bank, and if the Maryland law unconstitutionally interfered with this authority. In a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of McCulloch. The court held that Congress had the power to establish the bank. Therefore, Maryland could not tax the Baltimore branch, as it was an instrument of the national government employed in the execution of constitutional powers. Chief Justice John Marshall wrote the majority opinion. He argued that Congress possesses certain unenumerated powers not outlined specifically in the Constitution, but still necessary to govern properly and adequately. Marshall and the rest of the court determined that, if the end be legitimate and within the scope of the Constitution, all the means which are appropriate may constitutionally be employed to carry it into effect. McCulloch v. Maryland established that the federal government has certain implied powers, so many that it would be impossible to fit them all into the Constitution. These unenumerated powers give our government the ability to make laws that are necessary to adequately govern, in whatever circumstances the Founding Fathers were unable to foresee. This gives our Constitution a degree of elasticity, allowing it to evolve and adapt. The establishment of these powers in McCulloch v. Maryland was an important decision that had an impact on many future cases.
Created using Powtoon.